Welcome to the Startup Grind.
So the site. Many of you maybe don't know this, but the site at one point was completely free, right? And this is a big pivotal point that you guys had in your company. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about it. So at some point you changed that, and where organizers paid for. Maybe you all don't know this, but Spencer and I pay a fee each month. You can clap for that if you want.
Hey, actually, I should clap for that.
Yeah, it's good.
It paid for my clothes.
Your cool shirt. So tell us about that decision. What went into that decision? How difficult was it? And then what happened after you made that decision to go from free to paid model?
I guess the long story short there, if you want me to expand, I will, is we found ourselves in a situation which was people were we sort of took off and people were creating meetups left and right, and a lot of them were really crappy, and it was so easy to just start a meetup, and what happened was that people would sign up for meetups that the organizer wasn't all that interested in or invested in, and they would have a bad experience, and everyone would have a bad experience all around. And so one of my heroes is Craig Newmark, and from Craigslist, and Craig's model of basically saying, hey, when you got a spam problem in the real estate and job categories for him, he said, well, if you Craigslist started charging, and it fixed the spam problem. So it was a revenue model that also doubled as a quality filter and a product enhancer. And so we just took this bold move, which upset a whole lot of people, and we just went, sort of cold turkey, whole hog into it. Like there was no kind of like free meetups and paid meetups. We just said, screw it. Let's just see if the people are really care about their meetups enough to have skin in the game, and make us have a sustainable revenue model that would make it so that meetup wouldn't get screwed up and filled up with ads and other crap. And so in the end, it's worked out really well.
And what was the team's reaction? I mean, so the day after you switched that, was it just like jumping off of a cliff? In terms of your
just imagine, you start something that has like this crazy amount of activity, and we basically lost over 90% of our activity as a result of flipping that switch. And now today you could say, well, there are better ways to measure, to de-spam it, and better ways to have reputation, and and what if we didn't do that? Would Meetup be much bigger? All I know is that if we're focused on building a great product, and we keep the price really low, so we charge, it's about $10 to $15 a month for
the 12 if you buy the bulk package.
Yeah. For the and so we have 99% of the people using Meetup, like you guys not paying for it, but 1% using it, and lets us be profitable with a staff of 80, and just naturally grows on itself, and the spam problem is much less. What was the question again?
How scared was the team?
Oh, the team was it was scary, but that's the game, like that's startups are not meant to be. Startups aren't easy.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because by pretty much all accounts, you had this very interesting, successful product, and then you guys basically fired the majority of your users, or you changed the rules to probably save yourself in the end. But it seems like the greatest decision you could have ever made. But it's interesting. I mean, that experience of being successful and then realizing we're having the wrong success.
Well, I guess in there is like a really, I think, important takeaway for everyone, which is you have to kind of ask yourself, what are you really in business for, or what's the real goal here? And it was around that time as we started seeing these amazing stories from the good meetups, and you'd see that, boy, a good meetup really, people start businesses coming out of good meetups. They start bands. They find friends. They all this good stuff happens, and so you say, that's when it really crystallized for us. It said, wow, we're in business to see good meetups happen and for these communities to emerge. And wow, wouldn't it be amazing if there was a meetup everywhere about most everything? And you look at the actual, you got to really face reality and say, okay, now let's look at this actual the actual activity happening here, and you say this is not, if it's 95% crap,
Yeah.
we could here's the point. You could easily sell crap to investors, or you can flower it up, or you can try to get someone to buy the company because, wow, look at all these page views or something. But you really got to be true to what's the heart of it. What are you really trying to do, and what's the dream? And the dream wasn't just to pull some swindle. The dream was to make something real and to let stuff like this really happen.